Hello everyone, and welcome to Straight Up That One Time I Was a Bootlegger. For the sole reason, because we have Clea Strange! I literally sat in the theater and recorded this on my phone. Anyways, welcome officially to the Clea Strange build vlogs. I hope you all enjoy it. I'm going to be popping in here with some voiceover every so often because some of this footage is from a while back, so you'll see my hair a different color. But just so you know, we are getting started. Let's go.
Hey there, everybody. It's the beginning of a new project. Oh, here we go. So to intro this, hi. So to intro this, hi, we are back working on a new cosplay project, and I am refueled, I am refreshed, and I'm inspired. We're making Clea Strange. So I know I said in my Plan With Me video that we probably were going to do both of them at the same time, but if you watched my Plan With Me video, you know why I cannot do that right now. I'm currently working on my Her Universe fashion show look, as well as making Clea for my summer cosplay build for conventions coming up. So I can't fit in Doctor Strange. So we're going to be working on Clea, that I'm going to show you all. So for this week, it's going to be kind of a weird week. I don't know how I'm going to do all this. There's so much work I have to do. But the good thing is that I'm really excited to make Clea. Like, I love her design, I love her look, and it doesn't look too terribly difficult versus like Wanda looked hard. This one is your basic, your armor, pauldrons, spandexy superhero suit. But the thing is, it's just there's so much crazy detail, like custom prints and a lot of painting. And so we're just gonna do foam, armor, and then everything else. And so I think right now, I'm going to start working on the foam armor because I have a pattern that we have from Plexi Cosplay. I'll show you that in a second. She wonderfully sketched out and put up for sale Clea's Pauldrons pattern. And so we're going to give those a shot. And so since I have the Pauldrons, I'm getting ready to drape like this section right here. I'll put an image in here and kind of point to what I'm going to be making. But we're going to be working on the Pauldrons, the little panels on the side, and like this little foam scoopy bolero. I guess we'll call it the bolero. Why not? It's kind of, is it a bolero? Do I have my fashion terms right? I don't know. But I'm in the middle of a good stopping spot with my Her Universe stuff, so I can kind of put them aside for like a couple days and then work on Clea. I'm really doing really good on that. So in this video, probably Clea's video, I'll give you some updates. Can't show you anything, but I'll give you some updates on how I'm doing. If I'm too stressed, you'll know. So we're going to be draping the little bolero bit on my mannequin, and we're going to be cutting foam and prepping foam and painting foam. Hopefully all this works out. When I get my custom prints in from Spoonflower, we'll have a whole breakdown on that if you guys are very interested in looking at that. We have a couple people, one I know specifically in my Clea Strange Facebook group that we have on Facebook. Please, if you'd like to join, the link is below. Working on designs for that. So like all of us are like brain melding to try to figure out how to make this MCU Clea. So I'm waiting on those to be up for sale so I can purchase my stuff I need. And then we'll make the fabric pieces. So I think we're just gonna focus on the foam, and it'll just give me a time to paint since my Her Universe design is a lot of fabric. So let's go over to the work board. So here are the pieces that I mentioned. I have them all cut out, but that Plexi created, it's on her Etsy. I'll have the link below if you're interested. This is exactly what we're working on. Those pieces. So these are specifically these guys right here. Actually, I think these three and these two arm panels, and I'm draping this section. That is what we're going to work on first and hopefully get that done. I won't paint it until we get the fabric in, so I can make sure all of the colors match, because we're not having a Wanda color match problem again. Not again. So all these purples, and the good thing about it is there's a lot of purple. And so if nothing matches specifically perfect, it'll blend anyways. I'm not too worried about it, honestly. This is going to be a fun build. So I'm going to use I have 2mm and 4mm foam. And I think that's exactly what I'm going to use for the Pauldrons. I'm pretty sure it'll be plenty. I do know that looking at this costume more, that these guys look transparent. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to use transparents on that one. Mainly, I don't want to have to buy transparent clear Warbler. It's kind of a butt to work with. I don't want to mess with it. Everything's just going to be foam and it's going to be fine. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. I think other ideas that I have come to, like all of this is going to be foam because I want the painting to look really good on it, and I can do that with foam. This is probably going to be leather, and everything else is going to be lycra. Well, her belt down here will probably be foam as well. But I just don't have a lot of good clear images of that. I have good images of this, and that's what we have right now. So slowly images are coming out from Marvel and people who have worked on the outfit. So maybe by the time I get my fabric ordered, we'll have better images of exactly what everything looks like. So 3 cheers to Clea, our newest character in the MCU, and this amazing outfit that is just a symphony in purple. Like literally that's what we're going to call it. Symphony in purple. All right, let's cut some foam.
Hi, VoiceOver Amanda is back. So I have been getting a lot of comments on some of my videos, especially the weekly vlogs, from people who really would like me to talk more in these and tell people what I'm doing, because I usually just put on some music and kind of let it go. But I think from now on I'm going to start popping in here with some VO and telling you guys what's going on. So first thing we're doing right here is I am cutting my pieces for the Pauldrons out of foam. And I believe I'm using 4mm foam right here. I used 4mm foam for the Pauldrons, and then I used 2mm foam for all the details that you'll see later in the video. This is just a basic assembly. After I cut out all of the pieces from the pattern from Plexi Cosplay on Clea's Pauldrons, I just glued them together with some contact cement. Good old-fashioned contact cement. Make sure you wear a respirator or you're in a ventilated area, because this stuff is toxic! So right here, I am taking some quick seal caulk and going over the edges of the foam pieces that I connected together to make them nice and smooth. And this is optional, you don't have to do this, but I have really started to like this method with foam and connecting the foam pieces within the seams, is putting this stuff in the seams and smoothing it out with water, because it makes it look way more smooth and it doesn't look like the seam is there. So I highly suggest you get some of this. It's quick seal. It's that red bottle that's on the work table right there. And all you do is just apply it to the seam, and then you kind of put it in the gaps it needs to go, and then you take a little bit of water on your finger and smooth out the edges. It works wonders.
it's time to start a new project. I have been working on this project for a here and there bit of weeks sprinkled throughout, but I haven't like assembled a first video for her, however we want to call it. We'll just address it about her. It's Clea Strange. We're making Clea Strange. We have started on it. Hopefully I can get this done by DragonCon, or at least 3/4 of the way done by DragonCon. I think I can. So let's start on the journey. Let's get this going. I'll add in the footage after this little intro here of making her little shoulder pieces, which is the only stuff that I've been working on. Yeah, just little shoulder bits, armor bits. Right now we are going to duct tape up my mannequin and do a little pattern work on this area to attach the shoulder things to then attach to the bodice. So yes, we're gonna do some duct tape, we're gonna draw a pattern, we're gonna take that pattern to the foam, we're gonna cut that foam, we're gonna glue the foam, and we're gonna paint the foam. Yeah, so I wanna have this little like shoulder pauldron area done before I do the under bodice out of leather and fabric. Yeah, so that's kind of the method we're going about right now. I'm really excited to start this. I think it's gonna go very well. It doesn't look too hard, but I say that before all of my builds, and it's when it ends up being one of my hardest things I've ever made. So I'm excited to start a new process with you guys, a new week by week work in progress vlog. We are working on Clea Strange. It is gonna be fun. Let's get into it.
So we are doing the old-fashioned wrap your dress form up in plastic wrap and then duct taping and drawing out the pattern. This is a time-old method of doing pattern making for things that are close to your body that's not really requiring any drape or folds or anything like that. So go ahead and just watch my method, how I do it here. And I only end up duct taping half of the dress form just to save on tape because you don't really need the other half. You can just mirror the other half. Pretty simple. But I get a lot of questions on how to pattern a lot of stuff. But this is a fantastic way to pattern anything that is something close to your body, like superhero suits, armor, anything that doesn't really require fabric drape. That's a whole nother video we can talk about later in a different build. But for this, Clea is a superhero. She has clothing that is tightly to her. So this is how I do my patterning method for Clea. Once the duct tape was down, I started drawing out the pattern that I needed. And this is for her little bolero that I mentioned earlier in the video. It's pretty simple, but I needed these weird curves to look really nice on my body. And also just to jump in here, if you decide to do this method on a dress form, please, 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 please make sure your dress form is almost an exact copy of you. I've made several costumes in the past that I wasn't true to myself and honest with myself with my dress form, and the costume ended up not fitting, and it was an absolute bummer. So when you are measuring out your patterns or when you are measuring yourself to be able to move it into a dress form measurements, be honest with yourself. It's okay if your boobs hang lower. It's okay if you got a hump back. It's just how you are. But it really, really needs to be like that if you're doing this type of pattern method, because then your stuff will not turn out to fit. Okay, the bolero fits. Now we're doing a very important step that please do not forget about. Adding pattern marks. So when you are going to take this apart, you need to lay flat so you can then move it to foam, but you also need it to match. So don't forget to put those pattern notches in your pattern before you cut. So you'll be able to put your pieces together and they work and fit. Now I will say that I do have a lot of upper back muscle, so my upper back is curved, and I will put a dart in my pattern. You'll see it in a second. And that is clearly just for me. That's not a part of her pattern at all. That is for this to fit my body. So just an FYI. Yeah, so when you are doing this type of method and you want the things to lay flat, if something is bubbling up, you cut a dart into it, and literally you just cut a slice into the pattern until it lays flat. And then when you are ready to assemble your pattern, make the dart pieces first, come close together, glue them back together, and you will have your own body. So you'll see how I do it right here. Once again, using 4mm foam for my Clea Bolero, and I believe this is SKS foam, I believe. Double check, I think it is. I love his foam. Steven's foam is fantastic. Steve's foam is fantastic. I highly recommend. You can get it on blickart.com. Anyways, I believe this is 4mm, like I said, using my favorite Alpha art knife. I love this baby. It's got such a long blade and a long tip. It cuts so nice, especially when you have a fresh blade on it. So all I did was cut out one side, mirrored the other side, transferred the marks, and started gluing together. The one magic thing about foam is the fact that you can not have to put seams and darts and everything to get it to bend the way you want. That back dart was heavily needed because I have a very arched back at the top, but around the neck, I just took my heat gun and was able to form the curve up there that had the top of the little piece does around her neck just with the heat gun, so I didn't have to put any kind of darts or seams into that, so it worked out well. now I just hit it again with the heat gun to get it to lay flat completely on my body, and then I wrapped it up like a mummy with a bunch of just, I don't know, some random, it's not twill tape, but whatever I had laying around, so that hot foam can mold to my body. You don't necessarily have to do this if your foam just lays fine, but I just like a final heat gun blast over it just to get everything to lay nice. Okay, so I went and took that pattern that we used to cut out the bolero with, and now I'm drawing on top of it the design work that we need to do that I will be cutting out of 2mm foam. And so it's double use out of your pattern. So make sure you have your little bolero fitting first fine before you start chopping up your other pattern, just in case you needed to make another one and oops, you don't have your pattern anymore. So her pattern work on this outfit, it's bonkers. I'll just go ahead and say it. It's absolutely wacky. And just do the best you can where you can. I did 100% take a lot of creative liberties on this costume because A, we don't have any images of it except screenshots from the one scene and whatever she posted on her Instagram that one day that was magical, but still that's really low res. And I don't know, I hope we'll get more pictures of Clea's outfit because it's dope, but we're gonna have to just take some creative liberties and it's gonna be okay. And we're gonna move forward. Ooh, we are at another tedious part. Actually, this was the first kind of really tedious part that stopped me for a while. She has these grooves that are in that bolero jacket foam armor thing. So I decided to do that by drawing in lines that mirrored what the lines looked like. And because I don't really know what her armor is, I assume it's something fancy it might be foam, who knows. But I am drawing in lines that I think I have like 1/8 of an inch apart all over the areas that this detail needed to be in, and then I will slice them open carefully, not to go all the way through the foam, with my Olfa art knife, and then hit it with a heat gun. And what that does is actually pop open those details, and you'll be able to have that depth and dimension with just the cut of the foam without doing any paint or anything. Now, am I gonna not go back in with paint? I probably will, but you'll see in the next video how it looks. Oh yes, I did end up adding a separating zipper to the back of this. Very smart move because I needed just like a smidge of like room in my shoulders. And plus this goes over clothing, so I need just a little bit more room. So I added in the separating zipper at the top, and also this will help with travel. It'll be able to break down easier. Highly recommend doing that instead of just having it glued together in the center back. Now we are off to cutting the detail pieces out of 2mm foam that I will then mirror and get pieces for the other side, and then just contact cement right on where it needs to go. Pretty simple. Okay, so now I'm gluing those pauldron pieces onto the little bolero jacket. I bet you're wondering why they're black and not like the foam like everything else. I, for some reason, just went ahead and plasti dipped, which is a sealer for foam to be able to paint on top. For some reason, I don't know why I just didn't wait, but I got antsy. I don't know. So those are sealed already, and that's why they're black. And eventually, once I have all of the foam details on, I will plasti dip the whole thing and get ready for painting, and that'll be in the next video. Actually, it'll already be done in the next video. I didn't get any footage of me spraying. I mean, it's just spraying it black. It's really not that much, but I loved the way this looked. This turned out really nice, really clean, and when I spray painted it with the plasti dip, it turned out even better. Like, I just love the way this looks. The back, I'm giving myself some creative liberties because you're really not going to see a lot of that because of the cape. So that's why, like, the detail's going to stop in the center back, and it's fine. It's totally fine. This costume's for you. It's not for anybody else. But I will say, this ended up looking great. I'm very happy with it. Thank you so much for joining me on my part 1 of making Clea Strange. There will be a part 2 next week, and we will go into finishing up the bolero, which I believe it's done at this time, and then we're going to go into the bodice patterning and making. So we are moving along. Thank you so much for joining me. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. We do weekly vlogs here all about cosplay and cool stuff. But I will see you all next week. Adios!